Hello and welcome to another Idle Legions video. Today we will be doing some Test of Champions gameplay. Now my goal here today is to share some tips with you guys on how to do Test of Champions. So for me and my guild, usually when we do Test of Champions, we always end up in the top 1 to 5 at the end of the week. We share strategies with each other, and I'm here to share some of those with you here today. And hopefully you learn something as you watch me do a playthrough of the Test of Champions. So usually what you like to do, for example, for a pick like this, you want to take the best hero, especially on the first pick, and then build a team around the colors that you pick. So here, for example, Baki is not that good, in my opinion. It's just a normal damage dealer, which usually damage dealers you can fill in easily later on in the draft. Reina here is also not bad, I would say, but I think the best pick here is Ali. I would rate Ali pretty high because he's a really good tank. He can absorb a lot of damage, and he fits. He is also in the fire color category, which is a really good color. Especially when you can get the other fire healers like Lior or the ones that can do the barrier. So we'll take Ali first. And with Ali, usually you want to take the Icebound set, which reduces the damage taken here by 25. Another choice that's okay would be the Imperial set, which does reflect damage if he's your main tank. The Sage set is not too bad, especially if you want to abuse his second skill. So if you have an excess of tanks and maybe some assassins that will go in the backline and you have no healers, maybe you want to go Sage so he can keep using this link and reduce damage for the lower level mobs that go to the back. So here, since he's my first pick, I usually take Icebound set with him. Now, for the second pick, since we've already delved into fire, Lior here would be a good pick. But overall, if I was just picking blank, like first pick, John would be really good. Swirling Axe, Assault Slash, he's really good at clumping up mobs so your characters can kill them and it disrupts the positioning of all the mobs. He's also pretty good when he's left alone later on as the only character left. But since Lior is also pretty good as generally as a healer, so either of these two would be good right now. It's actually really early in the draft also that you can still take John without any repercussions. But here I'm taking Lior because I want to do the fire synergy. And the best set usually for healers is the Oracle set. So yeah, now in line with this, these are just common mobs, but I'll usually just take the ones that are in line with my colors as a filler in case I have to use them. So this guy can be used as a tank because he explodes on death. So usually you want to just use the Warlock set with him and abuse the extra damage if he does die. Alright, now for this pick, there's Gabriel, Dowager, and Santiago. All are really good picks. Gabriel is really good to as the light faction will fill up your team bonus. Dowager is really good on her by herself in carrying a team. Santiago is really good if you can build a water team with him. He's really good if you place him in the middle of the formation. He can do a lot of damage and disrupt enemy heroes. So here, usually if you see a Dowager, it's an automatic pick because she's just that good. So we're taking Dowager here. With Dowager, if she is your only tank, you can choose a Barbarian set with her and reflect damage. You can also go the way of Fury if she's your secondary tank or your DPS, just so she can do more damage. Immortal set's not really recommended, and Dragon set's not really recommended here. So since I have an Ali, I probably take the Fury with her. Now here again, you can choose any of the Assassins or Ali. Again, I will take the second Ali just for team synergy. So here, since he is my second pick and I have a healer, I can probably take the Imperial Reflect with him. All right, now here, these are three very good heroes. So, um, for a 5-star, Ymir or Skald is pretty good. If you're doing an ice team, well, we already have a lot of tanks. John's also really good, as mentioned. Santiago, maybe I'll take him, and then if we get a Anson later on, that would be a really good combo. But if not, Santiago's pretty good DPS by himself. So again, we go Fury for most of the ranged damage types. Ah, here, as expected, we got. As I mentioned, we get Anson. Anson's a really good healer. Big Daddy's a really good tank. But I have so many tanks right now, I can afford to take Anson. So I'm taking Anson. And usually with healers, you'd like to take the healing effect, Oracle set. You could also go with a Sage set with him, especially if your team has a bunch of 2 casting cost heroes, because he can keep casting this adrenaline shot that increases the damage. So here I'm still debating whether to take Sage set or Oracle, but I guess we will go Sage set and hope he can keep spamming adrenaline shot for our Dowager. Here is another very good choice. I mean, we can go with another Santiago, but in general, if you see an Aral, at least one copy of Aral, you should automatically pick Aral because his second ability is overpowering. As you can see, it increases MDef of all your heroes as a passive. So that automatically makes you good against magic attack teams. And the attacks of all your allies get a chance to silence and convert to HP. So just keep Aral alive. Doesn't matter if he's tank, doesn't matter if he's in your backline, just in general have at least one copy of him. Having more copies doesn't make your team any better because the passive doesn't really stack. At least I don't think it does. So it's an auto pick for Aral here. Again, Scald or Yumi is pretty good, but it's just overpowered. So for Aral, there are a lot of choices with him. In general, if you're just sticking him in your backline, you can actually opt for a Warlock set so he does more damage. If he's your tank, you can pick the you should pick the Imperial set because he has a revive. Icebound is okay with him if he's your only tank in the lineup, but because he has a revive, it's more useful if he does more damage to the opponent. So in general, it's either Imperial or Warlock set. Sage set doesn't really do much because his second skill is not a cooldown ability. So here, if you have to look at your team first and think about what composition you're putting out. So right now, it seems that I have 2 water, I have 3 fire, and then 2 dark. So usually it would be 3 fire and 2 dark would be really good. But in this case, you probably will miss out on the team bonus now because of the way your team is going to be built. So with Aral, I'm going to take the reflect damage. So here for deployment, I mean, these 2 are automatic, and the 2 dark ability, their cursed ability is really good with attack speed bonus and HP. So you can do a 3 faction bonus for 15% attack and magic attack. Sometimes you have to weigh the options whether having the team bonus or the heroes are worth it. So you can go, if that happens, it would be double Ali Lior, right? Your only source of damage here would be Dowager, and maybe a little bit of damage from Aral. This team is unkillable, but I don't know if it'll do enough damage. Your other option would be probably something like this and have no bonus, but Santiago and Anson I don't think really makes too much of a difference in this kind of lineup. So maybe the 10% is more worth it, or the 15% more damage is worth it, since Dowager is going to carry you anyway. So I'll fix the formation like this, maybe something like this, and then we'll fix the abilities. So in general, you don't always want to use all the abilities because you want to keep, for example, Dowager, for her to keep using her ability. And because Lior is a three energy ability, it's quite expensive if you use everybody's abilities. So Aryll is pretty good. It has stun, Lior. So you want at least to have 4 abilities. So I'm going to use one of the Ali's abilities, preferably the one in front. So I mean, you have to double check. So yeah, so I think you want the Imperial one in front so it can do more damage. So we'll switch this. And in general, you want the Ali with the ice, well, one of them to do the reflect damage. It doesn't matter which. But preferably maybe the one in front or in the back. So you can spread the damage around. So unfortunately, there's no good way to find out which Ali is casting which. So I'll take this out, put him in, and now you know the Ali in front is the one using the ability. Just uncheck. So we want Dowager to use ability first. Stun with Aryll. So this is the priority you want. And save. So now we search. So usually I like to watch the first match because it gives you an idea if your formation is good or if your abilities are set in the correct order. So yeah, you can see Ali's doing okay. Yep. Well, of course, you destroyed a very weak team. But yeah. So in general, it's really good to focus on the synergies over the heroes, except if the heroes you picked are really bad. So now we can skip battles until we get to the mid tier because I know for a fact this team will do at least, at the very minimum, 8 to 9 wins. But with 2 dark, generally you will get up to 10, 11 wins. Or 2 cursed heroes, I mean. So now I'll just skip through these because these are easy wins. Just in terms of hero power, you will overpower them. Okay. Oh, well, we got beat by that. So as you can see, there was a lot of healing in that lineup and probably didn't do enough damage for this. So in this case, you have an option. You can switch to more damage if you think that this is not going to do enough damage. So you can switch out Ali, the 2 Alis, put this in, put in Santiago and Anson. In general, you want Santiago to be in the middle because when he uses his ability, you want him to hit the most number of units so he can get the attack speed bonus. You also want to use Anson's ability. Since you have 2 healers, I don't think I'll need the shield. I don't think I'll need the stun as much, but you want to keep using these 4 abilities. Okay, let's save. And then we can watch the battle. See how it plays out. So you see his team is full of tanks and a healer. So you can switch your lineup to make it more damage heavy instead of using the other lineup, which is mostly tanks. It would be very difficult to kill that lineup. So now easy win. So the good thing with Test of Champions, you have to adapt to what your opponent has. So like in this case, opponent has 2 tanks, 2 healers, and an assassin. So if you use this lineup, it might be okay, or you can go back to the more tankier lineup. But I think since there are 2 healers, you might need more damage. So you can watch this lineup. And in general, Gabriel is really, really, really tanky. So you want to have more damage or DPS when you fight Gabriel. So because of the two healers, I'm not even using Lior's shield. Oh, never mind. Santiago died. We really need to kill the Zara. It's killing our backline. So as soon as the Dowager gets rid of that, yep, we win this round. And there you go. So we're now at 9 wins. Let's search. Okay, this lineup is very tanky. And they have no assassins, so Santiago does really well against this lineup. So we can go again. We can check how this fight will go. As you can see, if the opponent doesn't have any assassins, Santiago will just go crazy damage. Especially when he's using his skill and hitting multiple targets. Yep, tanky lineup. 30 seconds left, we'll be able to do it. So as you can see, the light faction heroes are very tanky. So if you have a lineup with no DPS, you will end up losing on time to some of those lineups. So this one is a very tanky lineup. Again, they have no backline and a bunch of tanks. So we can continue to use this lineup and see how it does. 2 stuns though. It's very dangerous. But again, they don't have any assassins, so Santiago is free to do a lot of damage. And as usual, Dowager does a lot of damage, so the Red Lotus faction is really good because their 4 stars are really good as well. So you can see Ali and Esma are mostly used in a lot of these lineups. So those are the high value SR heroes if you can't get any SSR heroes. Sometimes you just have bad RNG. So we're at 11 wins and we have 2 losses to spare. Let's see our opponent. Okay, so this is the one we're up against. They have a AoE, Dowager, RL, tank, and healer. So I think this lineup can do well against them. They have the same team bonus as us, just 2 dark, no other synergy. So I think we can win with this lineup. Let's check. See, so you can see Santiago silencing the Amka, Santiago getting healed by the 2 healers, the Dowager doing a bunch of reflect damage from her second skill, and the Amka's dead, so we won this one. So first recording, we got a 12-win team. So sometimes you have to adjust your lineups in-game. If you can see that the lineup is not working, use the other heroes that you drafted. So it's not always just sticking to the same 5 heroes. Sometimes you have to look at your opponent's lineup and adjust as well. So 12 wins, 3 summons. Let's might as well summon them on this YouTube video. Okay, 4-star, 4-star, and 3-star. Okay, some fodder. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more Test of Champions questions, put them in the comments below. Or if you want to see more Test of Champions videos, let me know and I'll do more of these videos. Thanks. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.